Hello students, welcome to Amrita's Current Affairs monthly series. I welcome you to the July month. We are entering into the July month current affairs, right? So for now, just for a reminder, we have done October month, we have done November month, we have done June month, and now we are entering into our 4th month, that is July month. I hope you are revising from the videos and from the PDFs, right? Right now, we'll start our July session. Okay, so in the July session this month only we have some indexes for you, but we have some extensive coverage of the location, both India and the international. As I've told you in the June class itself that I'll be covering golden crescent and golden triangle, so I have that for you in this class. First, the indexes in the report, and that too international ones. First is education as a glance report. The reports in the today's session, majority of the reports are just what you need to know, the report and which is produced by which particular organization. That's it. I don't think that too much details are required with respect to many of the reports. Okay, first is this is released by OECD, that is Organization of Economic Cooperation and the Development. Okay, OECD. India is not a member of OECD. India is not a member of OECD. Okay, so education at a glance. So they have some observation with respect to tertiary education, that the benefits of tertiary education: higher employment, higher earning, more resilience to the long-term unemployment. Okay, and these things are very generic in nature, so we don't have to go too much into the details of this particular content of the report. Now, just for your information, that every report that we are discussing today, every reports or index, they come up with their own PDFs, right? In this, some really good data is there, some really good points, some really good data is there, but it is not our UPSC needs, right? If you go too much into it, then you can get that particular information, but we don't require that much information. Okay, so next is World Press Freedom Index, that is Reporters Without Borders, released by Reporters Without Borders. Okay, so World Press Freedom Index 2019, right? So it covers around 180 countries. India has fell 2 ranks from 138 to 140. It is not surprising seeing the current state of media in India. UPSC has already asked one essay on the media itself. In 2019, they have asked, the biased media is the greatest threat to the democracy, and we can see the tendencies in our current media: pro-nationalistic, not objective, right? We can clearly see their political bias, both the sides. Number of countries regarded safe for the journalists is on decline, right? Many of the journalists being killed, and it's a scary scenario for the journalists right now. Okay, so what is India's rank? Just to reiterate that out of 180 countries, we slipped 2 points by getting 250, right? And this much is important for you, nothing else. You can see position of Russia behind us. Okay, so Pakistan 142, we are 140. That is where we have to see the same condition if the journalist faces same in the Pakistan and in India, and how we are respecting the fundamental rights of the reporters or the journalists, right? It is imbibed in the Article 19 of your constitution, not directly mentioned, but the implication of the Article 19 gives the freedom to the press. Next is Henley Passport Index. Okay, so passport index is there, and based on the data provided by International Air Transport Authority, and this much is information is required. I don't think this information itself is required, and that means as in this index itself is very much important. I don't think see that. So Japan ranks first in the index. We are covering it. India jumped to position 2 from 81st to 79 in this particular index. Okay, India has jumped 2 ranks. So Henley Passport Index, Bangladesh is the bottom 10. At the bottom 10, as you can see, Bangladesh 98, Afghanistan 107, India 84, Maldives better than us. In fact, Sri Lanka is also behind us. Interesting, right? Japanese hold the most powerful passports in the world. So this index basically holds which passport has the most powerful. Holding which country's passport, you can get maximum countries without applying for visa itself, visa on arrival kind of a thing. And that shows the strength of the visa, strength of the passport or the country itself. Next is Global Innovation Index. So Global Innovation Index is by the WIPO, that is World Intellectual Property Organization, INSTEAD and CII. Okay, so you can see INSTEAD, Cornell and WIPO. Okay, the Global Innovation Index, Creating Healthy Lives, Future of Medical Innovation. So Global Innovation Index, what is the India's ranking? India rank 52 this time. Okay, we have improved actually on this. First rank is Switzerland. That's all you need to know, the first rank and the India's rank. So you can see India's rank. 1 second. India's rank here from 57 to 52. We have improved. In fact, in economic survey, these indexes are quoted. In economic survey, few of the indexes are quoted, and you need to remember that. We will cover those indexes. Obviously, it is quoted in the economic survey, then obviously we will cover that. Okay, India's ranking, if they call about the strength and the weakness, if you talk about the, for example, what is good in our ecosystem, ICT system exports are good, right? Domestic market sale is really good. Growth rate of GDP per worker is really good. Graduates in science, this is really good. Demographic dividend. However, the weakness is the use of ICT, the education, the ecological sustainability and the environmental performance of India's innovation. That is how we are using innovation in these areas, and that is a problem. Next is State of Education Report for India, Children with Disability by the UNESCO. By the UNESCO, remember, not UNICEF. Okay, that is by UNESCO. Here you can get confused. Now they are saying that 5-year-old with the disability, what are their chances? They are saying 72% around never attended an education institutions. 27% are attending these are good people, these are good scenarios, and attended an education institute earlier. Okay. Now that goes to show the problem of inclusion of the differently abled. Next is the societal poverty line. Introduction of this measure based upon the recommendation of Atkinson's Commission on the Global Poverty, not a commission committee of our concern, so we won't consider that. Don't want to remember that. Atkinson Commission, don't have to remember, but societal poverty line you need to remember. Okay, so SPL, societal poverty line, is a combination of an absolute poverty and a poverty line that is relative to the medium income level of that country. So there is an absolute IPL, okay, international poverty line, and also the median economic level of the country. So specifically, if you see, it is equal to either this IPL or $1. What is currently international poverty line decided by the World Bank. Okay, so whether it is IPL or /$1 plus the median, half the median consumption in the country, whichever is greater. Okay, some figure will come that will be country specific. Okay, some country specific figure will come. So they will compare these two figure, and finally they will say whichever is greater, that will be societal poverty line. Hence, you can see it can never be less than IPL, that is international poverty line. Okay, so you can see as the countries get richer, the value of the consider the basic needs also increases. For example, in coming years, we will see internet becoming a basic need in our consumption itself. Internet, the value of the basic need increases. So internet will become a basic need, right? Next is Global Livability Index by the EIU, that is Economic Intelligence Unit. Global Livability Index. From the name itself, which are the cities in which the living is really healthy, good, considering all the circumstances, not only the economic growth but also the ecological concerns of the city. For example, Delhi, really poor position of the city because of the air pollution. Mumbai, the problems of the urban floods. So India ranks, index ranks, 140 global cities. Vienna is the first. Vienna in Austria is the first. Damascus is the last. Damascus is the capital of Syria. Delhi and Mumbai are the two cities to feature in the index. Okay, so you can see, first of all we'll see rank, then we'll see India's condition. So Vienna, yeah, so Vienna is the first city, first name, don't have to remember the next one, but still we see Australian cities, Melbourne, Sydney, Osaka, Calgary. You don't have to remember this, just remember the Vienna is the first one, and the least livable is, we discussed, Damascus, Syria, Lagos, Nigeria, Dhaka, Bangladesh, Tripoli and Karachi, but Damascus is the least one. Delhi, and what about Delhi and Mumbai? The city's appalling air quality as well as downgrades its culture and stability. Score have pulled down its ranking by 6 spots to 118. So Delhi is not very behind from the bottom. Delhi is 118 while Mumbai is down 2 places to 119. Okay, Delhi then Mumbai. Congestion we have seen in the last discussion. Remember, congestion index, traffic congestion index. Mumbai the highest in the world. TomTom, Amsterdam-based startup, Amsterdam-based civil society group. Okay, next is global talent competitiveness index. You should relate the fact, that is how you will remember it. Okay, you must relate the facts. Relate the fact means, now we have seen, for example, global livability index. Similarly, just compare with that congestion, the traffic congestion index, right? So you can compare and then you will come up with the analysis that no, the problem in the Mumbai is also very poor. Next is global talent competitiveness index. So by the Instead, in the partnership with the Aldeco group and Tata Communication, more importantly Instead. So just a few of the things here I like to highlight. So what's the index? The global talent competitiveness index was launched by the Instead, a partner sponsor of the United Nations SDG 10. Next is India has moved 8th place to 72nd position. So we have moved up in the 2020 index that measures and rank country ability to grow, attract and retain talent. Grow, attract and retain talent. So for example, phenomena of brain drain that we used to study in our 2000s, the first decade of 2000. So the retainability of the talent is also important. The challenges, again, still those challenges exist. Weak ability to retain, attract and retain talent. We are able to grow the talents, right? We have seen that index. In the earlier index, we have seen, right, that we have good people, global innovation index, right? Good people who are coming out of these engineering colleges. However, their retainability in India is a real issue. If you do not provide the enabling innovation infrastructure, then how will they retain? How can you retain these people? Top 10 country first is Switzerland, and Switzerland, I don't have to remember Switzerland, right? Okay. Others in the BRICS also don't need to remember. Just need to remember that India's rank has improved, but still the problem exists. Who has released this particular index? So we have seen the global indexes. Now we'll see some of the Indian index. I think the only one index is there of India. First index is Indian Innovation Index. So Indian Niti Aayog along with the WIPO. WIPO plus Niti Aayog has brought about this particular index. Okay. So some of the important data, for example, in the state PCS question has been asked, the Karnataka. I think I have already covered this Indian Innovation Index in your, just for the repetition, it was again mentioned. So Karnataka is the first state, okay, not Kerala. That is just what I want to remind you. Kerala is not the state. Karnataka is the first state. We already, I think, covered Indian Innovation Index, but just for the sake, it was mentioned in the month, so just for revision, or you can take it as a revision itself. Okay. Next is, now we'll see locations in the India. Location in the India, right? So the first location we're gonna see is Sagar Island. Sagar Island in the West Bengal. I think this location is really my favorite part of all the 5 sessions. I think yours too, right? We love the locations and the maps. So Sagar Island, you can see this island that is nearby on the edge of the and the Bay of Bengal. So this is your Sagar Island, right? So the ferry for the Sundarban to Sagar Island is, they have started some ferry, some sort of thing from Sundarbans to the Sagar Islands. Sundarbans you can see here, common between India and the Bangladesh, World Heritage Sites, Ramsar Site, so many sites, national park, tiger reserve, everything is there. So and Kolkata, location to Kolkata, you should also see Sagar Island. Next is Kundala-Halli Lake. Kundala-Halli Lake. Okay. So Kundala-Halli Lake project wins the national fund in the, you can see in the date wise, in the February they want a national water award for eco paradigm for the best resident welfare association category. Eco paradigm is innovative sewage treatment plant set up in the lake, has helped rejuvenate the lake in an eco-friendly manner that have enabled Kunda-Halli Resident Welfare Trust to win the first prize. However, if you see the tail of the same lake, the two tails of the same lake. So back to the square one. So it has been only 2 years since they got some money, and again it has turned into a garbage hub and hub for the illicit activities. So just remember that Kunda-Halli Lake, if it comes, then it is in the Bangalore in Karnataka. Next is Neelam Valley. Neelam Valley is in the Pakistan region, right? So foreign diplomats taken to Neelam Valley to debunk the Indian Army's claim of destroying terrorist pads. So first you see the location. So if you see this location, so this is Jammu and Kashmir, right? This is our territory, what we claim to be our Jammu and Kashmir. This area, this highlighted area is Azad Kashmir. Like saying it from the Pakistani side or the disputed thing. So this is Azad Kashmir. Just one second. Yeah, this is Azad Kashmir. This is Muzaffarabad, the capital of Azad Kashmir. This side is the Neelam Valley. So if the Neelam Valley comes, just remember it's in the Azad Kashmir area. Okay, so foreign diplomats, they have taken these Pakistanis have taken them to this place, and this is located in the Pakistani occupied Kashmir. So we say this particular area is Pakistani occupied Kashmir, and what Pakistani say that this Kashmir is, the remaining Kashmir is Indian IOK. That is, we say POK, so they say it is IOK, Indian occupied Kashmir, right? Something like that. And what UN says Pakistani administered Kashmir and Indian administered Kashmir, right? You need to have a UPSC aspirant, you need to have a very objective look at the things. It is what Indian government is claiming. It is what we claim that the whole Jammu and Kashmir is part of our area, de jure. But de facto, if you see on the ground, the Pakistani authority is handling this Azad Kashmir and the Gilgit-Baltistan. Aksai Chin is with China, right? Next is Kovada nuclear power project. So Kovada, it is in the Andhra Pradesh. Okay, so it's a new nuclear power plant that we are trying to get started. So the problem was that we had a deal with the Westinghouse, right? Okay, so that declared its bankruptcy. You can see that declared it. The first location we'll see Kovada, near the sea. Okay, so basically Westinghouse declared the bankruptcy, and then the process became installed. You can see Westinghouse encouraged the firm Westinghouse and the nuclear NPCI involved in the construction of this automatic and do it ASAP. I'm saying that it has to start. So after this Mr. Donald Trump visit in the February, we have seen recent visit. So again, it has been came into news, this Kovada power plant. So the Donald Trump, it is expected that they will sign a treaty together. They will sign some agreement on which the US government will help the Westinghouse to complete this project ASAP, because it is India's energy security needs. Next is Atapaka Bird Sanctuary. It's in the Andhra Pradesh. Many locations from Andhra Pradesh, right? So Atapaka in the Koleru Lake. We'll discuss Koleru Lake in detail in somewhere. I think in the Ramsar sites impetus series we'll also cover that. But for now, Koleru Lake location you can see here. Atapaka Bird Sanctuary, it is in the Koleru Lake itself. Known for the grey pelicans and painted storks, have made Atapaka Sanctuary their winter home for the breeding. So you see, so beautiful, right? So migratory birds, including the 1000 painted storks, arrive and more flocks on their way, and they make this particular lake as their breeding home. Next is Feni River. So MOU on withdrawal of the 1.82 cubic water from Feni River by India for drinking water supply. This is being in news. Okay, you can see the Feni River here. Okay, the borders. So location is southeastern Bangladesh. In the south, Tripura district then enters Bangladesh. So in the Tripura, you can see this Feni Lake on the border to Bangladesh. I think this map will not be visible to you. Okay, so we will put the picture up. Okay. Next is Jatayu Conservation and Breeding Center. So UP to get a first conservation center for vultures. So Jatayu was basically a mythological figure. Recently I have been to Jatayu. There is a big Jatayu sculpture. You should check out on Google, and if you visit Kerala, you should visit this particular place. So Jatayu Earth Center it is called, and really beautiful sculpture, really beautiful. You should see one video by a YouTuber called Dhruv Rathi. Really beautiful Jatayu sculpture is there. So UP, they have planning their first conservation center for vultures, right? So it's in the UP. The first one is in the Haryana. Next is the Bodo land. Why it is in the news? Because they are for the time being, for so much time, they are asking for their separate state, the Bodos. Okay. So which are the 4 states included? Kokrajhar, Chirang, Baksa, and Udalguri. So you can see on the northern edge of the Assam, this Bodo land is there. Okay. It consists of the regions located extremely north of the Brahmaputra river in the state of Assam by the foothills of Bhutan and the Arunachal Pradesh. Okay. So next is, what is their demand? Basically, the state demanded a tribal community called Bodo in the Assam, which comprise of 5 to 6% of the state population. So they already have this in 2003. They have an agreement, the Bodos, because they were protesting to have it their separate state. So the Assam government, the government of India, and the Bodos came up with the agreement that we will form a Bodoland Territorial Council, and we will provide you legislative, administrative, executive, and financial power over 40 areas in the Bodoland Territorial Area District. Okay, and this much you need to know with respect to prelims, and for the mains in the internal security or in your paper 1 post independent consolidation, this area becomes relevant. Next is Keoladeo National Park. So Keoladeo National Park is in the Rajasthan. It's a World Heritage Site. It's a Ramsar site, and which is under the Montreux record. In India, only 2 sites. I think you know the basic story, Ramsar sites and all this, but we will cover you in the impetus series also. Ramsar sites contains the wetland of national importance, in which the ecological fragile areas are there, right? And only 2 of them are in the Montreux record, that is in the Loktak Lake, and other is the Keoladeo, what we are discussing, Keoladeo National Park. If the location, earlier the name of the Keoladeo National Park was the Bharatpur Bird Sanctuary, BBS, Bharatpur Bird Sanctuary, but now it is Keoladeo National Park. You can see the location in the western edge of the Rajasthan. So this is the Keoladeo National Park. You can see inside a wetland is also there. That is why it is also considered a Ramsar site, because they contain the wetlands. Okay. What is Montreux record? So Montreux record is a register of the wetland sites on the list of the Ramsar wetland. Ramsar location we'll see. I have kept that in the international locations. So Montreux record is the register of the wetland sites on the list of the Ramsar wetlands. So we have these many wetlands in the Ramsar sites, right? In which the ecological fragility is more. They will keep these 2 in the Montreux record. Okay. So Montreux record the register of wetland sites on the list of Ramsar wetlands of international importance, where the change in the ecological character have occurred or occurring or likely to occur as a result of the technological development, pollution, and other human interference. Okay, as a result of the human interference. So this is the Montreux record. The location of the Montreux, it's in the Switzerland. It's a Switzerland's map. So you can see the Montreux is a place in the Switzerland. The Ramsar is a place in Iran, we will see, and Montreux is a place in the Switzerland. Many times we know everything, but just we miss out, okay, where it is. Just like Kigali agreement is in the, Kigali is the, in which country? Just in the Rwanda. I wanted you to comment in the comment box, but I disclosed it. Okay. Next is Gorewala Lake. Gorewala Lake in the Nagpur. So Nagpur, why it's in the news? Gorewala Lake goes dry for the first time in the 100 years. 100 years it got dry, but and more importantly, not after it got dry, we can see submerged well observed visible as Gorewater Lake dried up for the first time. Okay. So if the question comes, because you see, if these these locations are really helpful. Some of the geography optional students have told me that sir, these locations are really helpful for us because we are able to identify which are the locations we must study for the geography optional paper. Okay, so you can have those there. Next is tiger capital of India. Which is the tiger capital of India? That is Nagpur. So tiger capital of India is Nagpur. Location you can see here in the Vidarbha region. In the Vidarbha region. I'll try to cover also the regions as we move along. So this is Vidarbha region. Okay, Vidarbha region. So Nagpur is the tiger capital of India. So why it is tiger capital? You can see in the impetus I have already covered, but you can see here also. In Nagpur location is here, right? Nagpur. You can see Pench, Bor, Navegaon, Najarika, Nagarjuna Sagar. It's not here. It's not here. It's somewhere over there in the Telangana. Sorry, it's in the Telangana Andhra Pradesh border. Okay, so you can see Tadoba Andheri. So Nagpur location is around these many tiger reserve, and that is why it is said to be the tiger capital of India. In fact, there has been increase in the tiger have been observed that, and that is why they have declared Nagpur as the tiger capital or the tiger gateway of India. This is not a current affair fact, it's a static fact. Next, we're going to see Lawson Bay Beach, Vishakhapatnam and Andhra Pradesh. So Lawson Bay Beach was in why it's in the news again. Once a star attraction now resembles a dump yard. In fact, the position of the beaches in India is really poor. Now the government is working with the organization like FEE for the restoration of the beaches. We'll see those facts. People get together to clean the Vishakhapatnam beaches. In fact, Mr. Prime Minister Narendra Modi himself collected some garbage during the beach when he was on the beach in the one video that he released on his Twitter. Okay, people get now people are also together, but overall you can see in September 2019 people are together to clean the beach. Then in February in the recently again the dump yard. So we have seen the locations in the India. This is going to be a relatively small video because locations go really quickly, right? But really important stuff. Now we'll see location of the international area, domain. Okay, so the first fact we're going to see, in fact, instead of the fact, we're going to see the question. So it's a 2018 question prelims. So the question is basically with respect to the world mapping only. Though consider the following pairs regions sometimes mentioned in the news: Catalonia, Spain; Crimea, Hungary; Mindanao, Philippines; Oromia, Nigeria. Now, to be very honest, when the question appeared, some aspirants knew about Catalonia and Crimea because they were too much in news. These two things were also in the news, but maybe they have missed out. Now, if you know 1 and 2, then only you can solve the question. How? You know 1 is also right and 2 is wrong. Crimea does not belong to Hungary. So 2 wrong, 2 wrong. So 3 and 4 and 1 and 3. You know 1 is right, then answer is C is right. However, we must know about the remaining 2 regions as well. Now we'll start. First is Catalonia region. So Catalonia, this is Portugal, this is Spain, right? This is France. So in the Spain itself, this particular region wants a different autonomy. They want secessionist, some referendum they want to have it. So Catalonia area. So Catalonia has the Barcelona, very famous club of football, Barcelona, right? Barca. So Catalonia secession. So they have this much population. More importantly, see here. Okay. It has 15% of the Spain's population, but for 20% of the economic output. In fact, many of the areas you will see where the secessionist tendencies are there, apart from the where there is a very lack of, you'll see 2 extremes. First, a lack of development, very poor level of development, or you will see high level of development. So these people feel that they are subsidizing the rest of the Spain, and that is why they want the separate. They say we will be better off if we do not subsidize the other part, right? And secondly, there can be also the case extreme backwardness, just like case of Telangana, case of Vidarbha. Okay, something like that. Next is Crimea location. Crimea, a very strategically located piece of land in the Black Sea. So Crimea was earlier by the earlier by Ukraine, but finally after 2014 Russia annexed the Crimea. You can see location of Crimea. You can see Crimea here, that is Black Sea, that is Russia, that is Ukraine. So earlier Ukraine has it, now Russia has kept it. Okay, I'm really sorry. So Russia has kept it. Okay, really sorry for that. Okay, so what's the benefit of having it? You can see EEZ, or huge EEZ of Crimea. Okay, and one more important thing, the Crimea is gateway to from Black Sea, and from Black Sea you can see here, you can see from Black Sea using these Sea of Marmara, they will go to Mediterranean Sea, right? So one few important location, this is Strait of Kerch, Strait of Kerch, this is Sea of Azov. So few of the locations that I also want to highlight is, that is Sea of Azov, that is Strait of Kerch, okay, that is Crimea, that is Sea of Marmara. You will see here, I should have kept the more when I'll discuss Black Sea, then I'll discuss that for sure. Okay, so this is the Crimea. We have seen few locations. So as Russia closes in on Crimea's energy resource, what's next for the Ukraine, right? So Russia has already taken over the annexation of Crimea, they have already done. Next location we're gonna see is Medano, right? We have seen one location, remember Subic Bay here, remember last time, Subic Bay, Luzon Island. So Mindanao, that is in the Philippines, and this is the area. Now why it was in the news, it was 5-month Battle of Maravi. So 5-month long armed conflict in Maravi that started in 2017 between Philippines government security forces and the militant affiliated with the ISIL, that is ISIS variant. Okay, so there was a long fight in this area among the ISIS has made its hub here and fighting with the Philippines forces. And also India has also contributed 3.2 crores of the Philippines in fight against the ISIS, and it was that is why it was too much in the news, right? Next is the region Oromia. Oromia is not the part of the said in the question, it is a part of the Ethiopia. Okay, so it is part of the Ethiopia. What is that? What's driving clashes between the Ethiopia, Somali and the Oromia region? So within the Ethiopia, Oromia versus this particular region, the fight between these two regions is there. Okay, so now we see the Catalonia, Spain, right? Crimea, Hungary, wrong. Mindanao, Philippines, right? Oromia, Nigeria, wrong. It is Ethiopia. So answer will be 1 and 3. Now, even if you do not know about these two things, then still you are able to solve the problem. However, there are two things from it. First thing, do not be afraid of the question. If you see the question, if you do not know a fact, don't get unsettled. UPSC want to unsettle you with these things. They know the student psyche. They will be knowing Catalonia too much in news. They won't be able, they may have missed out Oromia, they have missed out Mindanao. They may have missed out. They could have made it tougher by offering one more choice here. 1, 3 and 4. That would have been a relatively tough choice, right? If they have zigged it. But they want you to, they are also testing your temperament. That you do not get bogged down by the question and you try to solve with whatever resources you have at your disposal, isn't it? And that's what you have to do when you get into service also. Think out of the box. Whatever resources you have, build upon that base and work upon it. These are the things you have to do also. Okay. Next is Mount Agunung. Mount Agunung. Okay. Agung. Mount Agunung. So an active volcano in the Bali of Indonesia. It is the highest point on the Bali. It dominates the surrounding area, influencing the climate, especially the rainfall patterns. So it is a very active volcano is there in the Bali region of the Indonesia, and it is the highest point on the Bali itself. Don't have to remember that. The most important temple of the Bali is also on the slopes, not too much. Actually, in the 2019, the volcanoes have erupted there. Okay, and you can see I've taken the snapshot of the how you should go and see this video. Really majestic lava is coming from the particular volcano. Now, what I want to tell you here is the locations of few things. First is Indonesia. First, this is Strait of Malacca. I mentioned Strait of Malacca is there, right? This is Singapore. This is Malaysia. This is Sumatra. Indonesia is filled with so many small island, right? Sulawesi is also an island of the this Indonesia. This one is also an island of the Malaysia, not island, but island, part of island of Malaysia. So here Sumatra, then Java, then Bali here, small Bali here, right? Now you see, so you can see more clearly here, Sumatra, then Java, then Bali. The question can come, the capital of the Indonesia is not on its biggest island, it is on Java. That is, on Java, Jakarta is there. So you can remember J se Java, J se Jakarta. Okay, so Java and Jakarta is there. Sumatra, Java, and then Bali. Next is the question of 2017 pre has come. Which of the following is geographically closest to the Great Andaman, the Great Nicobar Island? Now, if you know Asian map, you know that Andaman Nicobars are really far away from the mainland India. So you know it cannot be Sri Lanka. Sri Lanka you have to eliminate, right? And the students were confused between these two choices. Now there they boiled on to, first there is Java. We know Java, Sumatra, Java, we ran. But we don't remember whether it is Java or Sumatra or it was Sumatra or Java. And that was a real tricky at that examination point. Okay, so you need to remember that it is first Sumatra, then Java, then Bali. I also want to remind you, really simple things matter in prelims examination. You can see from the map, we see this map many times, right? Asian we are reading, Indian Ocean region we are reading, but sometimes we are able to miss out on it. One of my friend from geography optional was not able to get this question right, which I expected him to. Okay, so this a really easy question was there, but I just wanted to ask you that even two things. First, you know the location of Andaman Nicobar from inland India, you have that particular idea. Secondly, do you know whether earlier is Sumatra, then it is Java? And Asian countries map is really important. You have seen they have asked this also, they have asked this also. Next, again, next 2010 question: which of the following can come across if one travels through Strait of Malacca? So can come across if it travels through Strait of Malacca. Will it be Bali? No. Will it be Brunei? No. Will it be Java? No. Answer will be Singapore. So we have seen that, right? Strait of Malacca, if it is there. Also Malacca, also known to Malacca dilemma of China. Malacca dilemma of China, that is, we'll discuss in Kra Canal when we'll discuss about the location, when we'll discuss about the Malacca dilemma also. Okay. So Malacca dilemma is basically, we'll discuss Malacca dilemma. So Strait of Malacca, so it's the Singapore, right? We'll come across Singapore. Apart from the Indonesia and the this will also come across, because you see they have not given the option of Sumatra. You see, Sumatra option is not given. Malaysia option is not given. They want you to ask between these things. Okay. In fact, if you would have got in 2010 question right, then you would have got this question right as well in 2017. Why? Because if you have collected the remaining two options, that is why we have discussed in detail Oromia and Mindanao, the Philippines one. If you do the detailed analysis of the previous year prelims question, you will be able to crack the few of the questions of this year also. That is why people say previous year. Please do solve previous year. Next is Marava Island. So oldest known natural pearl in the world was discovered recently off the coast of the oldest known natural pearl in the world was discovered recently off the coast of Abu Dhabi, United AE by Abu Dhabi, at the Abu Dhabi. So the archaeologists working at the Neolithic site of Marava Island. Okay, so pearl is mentioned. You can see size is 1 centimeter is this, and this size is very small. Marava Island, world oldest known natural pearl discovered at the Marava Island. The location you can see in UAE. This is the Marava Island location. Abu Dhabi, Dubai. Okay, so this is the location. Got the location? Okay. Next is Henderson Island. Henderson Island is an uninhabited member of the Pitcairn Island. We'll see Pitcairn Islands, an archipelago in the South Pacific Ocean. It's a remote, and location and suitability for human habitation have made it a subject of scientific study. So first we'll see Henderson Island, why it is in the news. Henderson Island is here only. Location of Henderson Island, you can say South Pacific, North Pacific, South Pacific, right? So Pacific trash kills 500,000 hermit crabs on the remote island each year. Henderson Island, the Pacific paradise, groaning under 12-ton plastic waste. A lot of plastic waste is on the Henderson Island, and that is why it was in the news too much last year. Okay, and the question can be asked. Now we'll see that Pitcairn Island. So Pitcairn Island, sorry, officially Pitcairn, are the group of 4 volcanic islands in the South Pacific Ocean that form the sole British overseas territory. They are the British overseas territory in the Pacific Ocean. The 4 islands are Pitcairn proper, Henderson. Just one second. Yeah. So Pitcairn, Pepper, Henderson, Duccio, and Orenos. Don't need to remember, but remember these 4 islands are scattered over several miles, combined area of only 47 kilometers square. Okay. So these are the 4 in the South Pacific. You can see South Pacific, right? South Pacific. Next is Apusiach. I don't know how to pronounce it, but if you see and you'll be able to get the turn. Apusiajic, right? And there must be some silent keyword will be there. So it's a glacier in the Greenland. Greenland area. Okay. It is why in the news, the global warming, a death sentence for the Greenland glacier. A lot of Greenland ice is melting. Glaciers are melting, right? It opens up opportunity also. Opportunities like now resources that were there, now we can exploit those resources. However, if you exploit more resources, more warming and the more melting will be there, right? So glaciers are a problem there. So these are the positive. You can have new sea routes. You can have new sea routes, new mineral resources. Achha, one more thing is there. We know from the childhood that Iceland has the green area. People can live there, and Greenland is mostly icy in the nature. Now Greenland is also we are discussing because Mr. Trump wants to buy Greenland. How much it is worth is anyway. Okay. So over 56,000 people live here, and Greenland is basically under the Denmark kingdom. So they are not sovereign country, they follow the Denmark. So Denmark decides their foreign policy and their defense. Rest everything is decided by the Greenland. They have their own parliament. So the rest of the thing is decided by the Greenland themselves, but the Denmark manages their foreign relation and the defense. You can see Greenland and Denmark. Okay. This is it. Greenland and Denmark we'll see Denmark. Now in the map you can see Greenland here and Iceland is west to it, and then Denmark here. Many people also tend to like just for the old geography revision, Denmark. So Denmark, the capital of the Denmark is Copenhagen. Copenhagen summit, remember 2009 COP summit of UNFCCC. If you do not know, just Google it. Copenhagen summit, really important summit of UNFCCC. So Copenhagen is the capital of the Denmark. The question can be asked to arrange the capital of the Norway, Sweden, Finland from east to west. Not only these countries, they'll ask you to arrange their capital from east to west, or not to south, but east to west. They will try, they can ask you that particular question. Okay. Denmark becomes second country in the Europe to go on the coronavirus lockdown as the Prime Minister announces all the school and kindergarten after Italy. Denmark is the second country where this is happening. Coronavirus, as we speak, the cases of the coronavirus are increasing day by day. Next is golden crescent and golden triangle. As I told you, as I promised you in fact last time, that we will cover that. So golden crescent and golden triangle. First we see golden triangle. How to remember that? MELT, melt. E small, then M is Myanmar, L is Laos, and T is Thailand. So M Myanmar, you can see Myanmar here, melt. Laos here and Thailand here. Okay, melt region. So from here, this is the proper region, right? And from this region, a lot of drug trade is there from every side. You can see affected side in India in northeast. Okay, the opium survey area, heroin flows, heroin inflows. Second is golden crescent. Golden crescent has the three countries, that is Afghanistan, Pakistan, Iran. The IPIA, something like that. Okay, So P is Pakistan, I is Iran, A is Afghanistan. Factors in favor of the smuggler, you can see their modus operandi. So in Afghanistan it is there, then from here India. The problem in India is Punjab and the northeast region. So what they do, tunnels are dug under the fence through which the drugs in packages strung together in the ropes through and of clothes are transferred. The complicity of the state forensic laboratory staff who help them in the accurate analysis about the purity of the narcotic seized. Okay, so these are the modus operandi of this drug things. Punjab and northeast, two of the things where the problems is there, Punjab and the northeast. Okay, next is the Ramsar. I told you I'll cover Ramsar. So Ramsar location, if you see Ramsar's location, you can see at the edge of the Caspian Sea here. Ramsar at the Caspian Sea, and this is the Caspian Sea. So it's in the Iran. Okay, sometimes very easy, we every time we mention Ramsar site, sometimes we tend to forget where is Ramsar. Okay, so this much we have covered in today's class. Indexes and the places in news, we have covered variety of the locations, and we'll try to increase our domain with respect to locations. We'll try to, this is the fourth class out of the 10 classes that we will take, right, in the locations, and we'll try to cover as many locations as possible. Okay, okay, so this is the first class of July month, and I'll see you in the next class covering the governance area of the July. Thank you. See you in the next class.